Here are the headlines on this week's News Bits. UN troops start operations against Rwandan rebels. World leaders honor Nelson Mandela at memorial. Obama Cameron selfie at Mandela Memorial creates fuss. Desmond Tutu's home robbed while he attends Mandela Memorial. French troops presence in Central African Republic to avoid carnage. Yaya Toure named BBC African Footballer of the Year. These and more when we return. Hello and welcome to News Bits on Fuxion TV. My name is Nike Roberts. United Nations peacekeeping troops in the Democratic Republic of Congo have launched operations against the Rwandan Hutu rebel militia operating along Congo's border with Rwanda. This came just weeks after the Congolese M23 rebels were overpowered. Defeating Rwandan FDLR insurgents will be a critical step in ending decades of conflict along the shared border. As the body of the anti-apartheid hero Nelson Mandela laid at the amphitheater Wednesday, where he was sworn in 19 years ago as South Africa's first black president, several world leaders were present to pay their last respects. Also present was F.W. de Klerk, the last president of white rule who shared a Nobel Peace Prize with Mandela for ending the apartheid era. Mandela emerged from serving 27 years in prison under the white racist government in 1990. He appealed for forgiveness and reconciliation and became president in 1994 after the country's first all-race democratic elections. He gave his inaugural address from the amphitheater, which was named after him. Archbishop Desmond Tutu's home was robbed while he was attending the memorial honoring Nelson Mandela. A statement given on Wednesday by the South African police said the robbery of Desmond Tutu's home in Cape Town happened in the evening between 7 and 9 p.m. No further details were available as the investigation into the matter is still ongoing. This was the third time in recent times that he had been targeted by robbers. A South African man who acted as a sign language interpreter at Nelson Mandela's memorial service has been identified as a fraud. The mystery man at the time provided hand gestures for hours as he stood on stage, presumably communicating to the deaf and hard of hearing. As a result, he marginalized the deaf community throughout the event. This embarrassing revelation raises security questions about the landmark event, which was attended by 91 heads of states. The interpreter, who has been identified as Tamsanqa Jantije, claimed he had a schizophrenic attack during the ceremony. He has since asked for forgiveness for his act. President François Hollande has defended France's military intervention in the Central African Republic after 2 French soldiers were killed in the capital Bangui. President Hollande said last week's deployment of 1,600 troops was necessary to avoid carnage. The 2 French soldiers were killed in combat near Bangui Airport. The Central African Republic has been in chaos since rebel leader Michel Djotodia ousted President François Bozize in March. Uruguay's decision to legalize the production, sale, and consumption of marijuana violates international law. According to the UN drugs watchdog, the International Narcotics Control Board (INCB), the move would endanger young people and contribute to the earlier onset of addiction. The new law will allow registered Uruguayans over 18 to buy up to 40 grams of the drug a month. It is the government's hope that the legalization will help tackle drug cartels. A historic handshake between the US President Barack Obama and Cuba's Raul Castro at the memorial service for Nelson Mandela in South Africa on Tuesday has caused a stir in the US, Cuba, and around the world. President Obama shook Castro's hand as he made his way down a line of dignitaries on his way to deliver an address honoring the late South African leader. The moment was greeted in Cuba with surprise and hopes for improved relations and is seen by many Cubans as a signal of reconciliation after more than 50 years of bitter ideological and political differences between the two countries. The Venezuelan government has rejected comments made last week by a World Bank envoy to Haiti. Mary Barton Dog suggested that the Caribbean country's handling of its Petro-Carib funds lacked transparency. The Venezuelan ambassador to Haiti, Pedro Antonio Canino Gonzalez, called the comment disrespectful and denounced the bank's interference in bilateral Haitian-Venezuelan affairs and cooperation. U.S. President Barack Obama may have motivated the masses attending Nelson Mandela's memorial service with his stirring eulogy, but it was his grinning selfie with the Danish and British premiers that set social networks abuzz. The so-called selfie, short for self-portrait, was quickly picked up by major international news outlets and went viral on social media sites, with many questioning whether the moment of mirth was appropriate for the occasion. The Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas, ANPA, recently celebrated their end-of-year gala in Atlanta, Georgia. For a few hours, it was all fun and no work for the doctors as they wrapped up their activities this year with a fun-filled celebration. Take a listen.
ANPA stands for the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas, and our vision is actually a healthier Nigeria in a healthy world. We have different kinds of activities based on our location here and in Nigeria, which we have a symbiotic relationship with because of our many members that want to give back and also want to encourage learning. In our year in Georgia, we start with what we call a health fair, and we have a community awareness event that involves families, friends. We actually have a cultural event later on in the year as well that's always well attended. We do the health fair I talked about, and we also have more recently done what we call the inaugural ANPA 5K Friends and Family Race, which actually raised funds for childhood obesity. Now, on the national scale, we have our annual convention, which is actually a scientific assembly, and we get continuous medical education as physicians, but we also have a lot of speakers that come and share knowledge, and we have a lot of sponsors, even from Nigeria, that come and showcase. And so, again, it's a symbiotic relation that we have there. Towards the end of the year, we have our gala event, end of year, which is here now.
Right now.
And we have 12 chapters across the country, and many of them are simultaneously having their events.
2 years ago, they had a technology piece for ANPA, and I gave a presentation on electronic medical records that they have to use in the office, and also just using technology to be more efficient within the office. Well, it can be incorporated into Nigeria, but really it depends on the infrastructure within Nigeria. That will probably be the limitation. But the technology we do here can transfer to anywhere else in the world.
In the broad spectrum, ANPA is actually engaged with the federal government. So it's not just the small medical missions we do that we just go to small parts of the country. We're actually working on the big playing field where we're dealing with the Federal Ministry of Health, we're dealing with the who would it be, minister or whoever the top people are in the government, and we actually have a seat where the changes are being made. And for the medical school, we've actually been very big in the realignment of the curriculum for the medical school. So yeah, we are very interested and working hard and playing where it matters for the country. I think 4 years ago, we actually took ANPA convention to Nigeria, and we had a convention in Abuja where Federal Ministry of Health, the minister, all the different people that were involved in healthcare in Nigeria were there.
So do you concentrate on any particular area of medicine when you do the missions back home?
The basic healthcare, usually we try to improve in Nigeria. Emergency healthcare is very important. We're trying to educate people on first response, and also as much as possible the basic needs of things like hypertension, diabetes, very quite common at home as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And now to sports. Yaya Toure, the Ivory Coast and Manchester City midfielder, has been named 2013 BBC African Footballer of the Year. Toure had been nominated in each of the last 5 years, but never won. He finally beat Chelsea's John Obi Mikel, Liverpool forward Victor Moses, Borussia Dortmund striker Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and Rennes winger Jonathan Pietrioipa to win the award. Toure told BBC Sport, "I've been nominated for 5 years in a row, and finally winning the award is amazing. I'm very happy as it is the fans who have given it to me." Well, congratulations to Yaya Toure. We certainly wish him the best. Here are the UEFA Champions League group stage roundup. We certainly thank you for joining us on this week's News Bits. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay warm and safe.